It's Friday, and you know what that means. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Alex. I'm the graphic novel collector. Thanks for hanging out with me today. This past week, we had several comic books that I had to get my hands on. I'm so stoked to do a brief review and show you what I picked up. But before we get into that, make sure if you enjoy this content, you like the video, comment down below, let me know what you're picking up, let me know what you thought about the books that I picked up, and of course subscribe, join the community, and make sure to follow me on League of Comic Book Geeks, where I do reviews over there, and you can check out my poll every single week. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's jump into our first review because we've got several books this week that were oh so good. First up, we've got Batman 140 by Chip Zdarsky and Jorge Jimenez. This book was absolutely brilliant right out of the gate. I do want to tell you that this is top tier writing that we know and we love from Chip Zdarsky. I know a lot of people before the Mind Bomb series got kicked off have been a bit iffy on whether they like Zdarsky's Batman run, but I am here to tell you, in the pages of this book, it is absolute greatness. This is a comic book reader's comic book. It is hard-hitting, it is brutal, picks up right as issue 139 ends, as Batman is chasing down the Joker, and he does have to deal with not only the Joker, but the Zerd duplicates. It was awesome read. He's dealing with not only the Dark Knight, Frank Miller's Dark Knight Batman in there. He's dealing with the 66 Batman, the 89 Batman. It is so good. There's an awesome joke in there that really popped me and got me to laugh out loud, where our current Batman says to 89 Batman, "At least I can move my neck back and forth and look left or right." That was a really good joke. So this was absolutely brutal, though. I mean, Batman really just beats the snot out of the Joker, while at the same time, in his mind, fighting all these Zerd duplicates. It was a really excellent read. If you're a Zdarsky fan, if you're a Batman fan, or if you're just a fan of good comic books, this is an absolute must read, and I would definitely recommend reading issue 139, the first part of Mind Bomb. Moving on to my second book, we have Blue Beetle, issue number 4. This is another addition to the Scarab War arc, and this is a bit of a shift down. If the third issue was action-packed, nonstop, go, 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 awesome action, this book was a downshift. Not a whole lot of action in this book, but that's not to say that this book was bad. No, by no means is this book bad. I would definitely pick it up and continue on this arc that Josh Trujillo is continuing, because this book has a lot of heart. There's several really heartfelt moments. There's a moment in this book where Starfire and Jaime is talking to Starfire about he really wants to get rid of the Blood Scarab, and he really wants to kill him. He's trying to decide whether he should actually kill the Blood Scarab, and obviously he's never killed before. So there's a really great line, though, from Starfire. She says, once you make that move, there's no going back, and it changes you. Once you actually decide to take a life, there's no going back, and it does change you. So this book, although a downshift and not quite the action-packed issue that Blue Beetle number 3 was, and especially not the action-packed bloody mess that Batman 140 was that I just talked about, this does have heart. There are some nice moments in here, and the ending is pretty good. Trujillo really knows these characters and knows how to write a good Blue Beetle series, and he's been doing it for quite some time at this point. But I really suggest picking this up. Go into your local comic shop, because this is one that's probably underread right now, and one of, in my opinion, DC's strongest books. Next up, we have The Amazing Spider-Man 39 Gang War. This is the first actual edition of Gang War. We did have First Strike last week, but that didn't technically count. It was a First Strike issue. It was like a one-shot prelude to it. Overall, though, I think this is a pretty good comic book. Was it as good as First Strike? No. First Strike had me super hyped. Romita Jr. is back on this book, and I know, I agree, Romita Jr. just isn't the same artist that he used to be back in the early 2000s when he did Spider-Man with Michael J. Straczynski. In the early 2000s, that run was awesome, and he was a great artist for that run, but he has fallen off, and I like to stay positive. I don't like to, I don't read and I don't review things that I don't like. But that being said, this book, the art, Romita Jr. doesn't do it for me anymore. And unfortunately, obviously, Spider-Man is one of my favorite characters in comic books. But this book is a solid book. It does show kind of a really nice team-up book. I mean, the team's right there on the cover, and there are some good character moments here, but it is a definite downshift in just every way from Gang War First Strike. But overall, I would definitely pick this up and check it out. I'm really into Gang War as a concept, and we're finally getting street level villains. This book, pick it up, check it out. Next up, we have Our Bones Dust, and the title is kind of strange, but once you start reading it, you absolutely understand. This is from Ben Stenbeck, one of Mike Mignola's longtime collaborators in the Mignola verse. He wrote Baltimore for a long time. And this actually, I got the variant cover by Mike Mignola because I am just a huge sucker for anything Mignola. So this is awesome book. I really did enjoy it. This takes place in a post-apocalyptic Earth where humans are cannibals and they speak in this weird, broken millennial speak, and that's kind of why the name of the book, I believe, is Our Bones Dust, because they kind of cut out words here and there, but you definitely get the gist. But this follows a story of a young boy who outsmarts this group of villagers. He steals water, and obviously in a post-apocalyptic place, water is very precious. It's one of the most precious things. And we follow also this guy who is a organic robot alien kind of duder guy. And he is basically surveying the area and seemingly is kind of like an archaeologist of sorts. And he's relaying all the information that he's finding back to, I guess, the mothership. We don't ever see who he's talking to or where he's communicating to. But based on the last page of this book, I'm super stoked. This was a fun read. Ben Stenbeck, Mike Mignola. If Mignola gets more and more variant covers on this book, I'm going to be super stoked to continue reading this. It was a good read. It was a quick read. Much like Mignola, the art really did lead this book. Not a whole lot of talking, not a whole lot of exposition in this book, but I like the direction it's going. And Mignola on the cover, super stoked to continue reading Our Bones Dust. All right, we get to the final new book of the week. This is Transformers, issue number 3 by Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Spicer. Y'all, this book is absolutely jam-packed full of classic comic book action. I'm not even a big Transformers fan, and if you look back in some of my previous videos, you'll notice I wasn't picking up this series. However, I called one of my local comic shops. I said, hey, do you have the first print of Transformers? I heard the book is insane, and I really just got to read it. Sure enough, they did. I picked up all 3 issues. This book may be the best single comic book issue I've read since I've been back getting single issue comics and not just focusing on graphic novels. Holy smokes, it picks right up where the second issue leads off. Carly finds Spike's dad. He just notified her that her dad unfortunately died and was killed by a giant robot dude. And him being a veteran gathers all his, basically a militia. He gathers all of his friends from the VFW. They get all these guns and they're going to go stop all the giant robots. And again, they don't know. And Carly the whole time's like, wait, I think some of them are good. And there's an awesome panel where Optimus Prime comes in and basically spears, for lack of a better term, absolutely spears a Decepticon. And it was awesome. Again, I'm not a huge Transformers fan, so some of the other characters, some of the other Decepticons, I don't know the names of too well, but yeah, this book was absolutely brilliant. Another amazing cliffhanger at the end of this book as well. And I don't know how the series gets better. The first issue I thought was excellent. The second issue was sensational. And this issue, even better, phenomenal. If you're reading comic books right now and you're a comic book fan, even more so than the Batman issue that I reviewed earlier in this video, you have to pick this book up. You have to find the single issues, find issues 2 and 3, get second or third prints if you have to of the first issue, because I know they can kind of be scary and sparse to find at this point. But Transformers, is it the best series going on right now? I don't know, maybe it is. Is that crazy to say? Daniel Warren Johnson, oh man, I love the fact that he's influenced by professional wrestling and he's influenced by heavy metal music. Oh, his style, his writing, the art. He is the writer and the artist on this book. Absolutely gorgeous and just amazing storytelling. Definitely do not sleep on Transformers by Daniel Warren Johnson. So that's it. That's my pull list this week. Those are all the new books I picked up. Like I said, I did pick up issues 1 and 2 of Transformers. Those aren't new books. I'm not going to review those though. But if you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it. Comment down below. Is Transformers the best ongoing series in comics right now? Let me know. Am I just wild and overstepping and kind of lost in the moment? Or is it just really that good? And is Daniel Warren Johnson just the absolute best comic book creator? Because he's doing excellent art. His stories are amazing. Comics are great. I'm Alex, the graphic novel collector. Make sure you like this video, comment down below, and of course subscribe. And I will see you in the next one. Adios.